Hey everybody, welcome to episode 13 of Let's Play Kerbal Space Program. We're still in our main career mode here. If you watched building episode 13, you saw me build a space plane, and I thought about grabbing a mission which collects some atmospheric readings around Kerbin and gets us some money for doing so. If I have time, I'll do that as part of this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this rocket, simplify it a bit, grab a, where did it go? Science. A Science Junior, stick it on there. Actually, I'm going to add more fuel tanks. Like that. So hopefully, now that makes it this particular rocket harder to get up into the air, because it's heavier, right? But I think what we'll do is we'll try and see if we can't get this whole thing in orbit around the moon. We're going to do a couple of things. We want to get in orbit around the moon, do a materials-based study, along with a couple of other things. Science. We'll get a Presmat barometer reading from the moon, and if, possible, a thermostat reading from the moon. How much does this service bay weigh anyway? Oh, hardly nothing? Alright, fine. No, we're good. We don't need it. We're not going to be going so fast that those are going to matter. And they'll be in the shadow of re-entry when we recover this anyway, so I'm not overly worried about it. They'll give us a little bit of drag on the way up, but I don't think it'll be... I think it'll be less than what I'd have to worry about with that service bay. So we're taking the moon orbiter up again. We'll have Valentina fly it. And the goal of this launch is to I'm distracted, I'm sorry. The goal of this launch is to get the materials-based study in orbit around the moon, as well as rescue some data that we've stranded around the moon from the previous ground mission. Now we know that Jeb is stranded. We're going to leave him stranded for a while. He'll just have to cope with the fact that his ship was not quite capable of landing on the moon. I just need a little bit bigger stuff to really make a good moon lander, I think. Or a lighter pod to land with. But this moon orbiter is capable of reaching moon orbit, doing all sorts of awesome stuff. Yep, this launch is looking pretty standard. I'm going to go ahead and carry it out, and we'll talk to you guys when I've reached orbit. Okay, here we are in a 72 by 72 stable orbit. Plenty of fuel left. Let's go ahead and get ourselves set for the moon. Moon, set target. Somewhere around here, we'll add a maneuver. Pull this on out. That looks pretty good. Get ourselves set and warp to next maneuver. Okay, so 115 is 75 seconds divided by 2 is 37. Yeah, 37 seconds, we start this burn. .38 seconds, good enough for me. Okay, we have 200 and, not 240 seconds, maybe 180 seconds worth of fuel. Something like that. This is going to be a nice little burn of 42 seconds. And then we'll do an ascending node fix, and we're on our way to the moon once again. 30 seconds to go on this burn. And we will do a Munar rendezvous, which will be kind of an interesting little exercise. 15 seconds left as we get ourselves headed out to Moon Orbit. Scientific instruments in tow. Okay, 2, 1, 0. That's looking pretty good. Something like that. Okay. Add a maneuver at the ascending node to fix it. Go ahead and warp to next maneuver. We're at the ascending node. Let's go ahead and face the right way here. Estimated burns hardly nothing, so talking 6 point something meters per second. Let's apply a little bit of thrust. And done. Oops. Oh well. Alright, I completely ruined that by tapping the wrong key. Come on, autopilot. Or pilot. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, I'll catch you guys when we reach the moon. Okay, here we are near the moon. Once again, in this case, we want to raise our periapsis. So the best place to do it right now is actually to burn orbit radial, which is, if we pull out a map, we're going that way. And we'll raise this to, say, 12,000 meters. Like so. And then at the periapsis, I'll target the moon, zoom in at the periapsis. Add a maneuver to circularize. And I also want this to be 12 kilometers. Something about like that. Go ahead and face this node. And warp to next maneuver. Okay, we are all set for orbital insertion. Which is a nice 17-second burn. We will do this at T minus 10, or 9, I should say. Bam. Okay. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. A little bit. Periapsis 12, apoapsis 19. Let's go ahead and just keep on bringing that down. There we go. Now, we're setting ourselves up a rendezvous. So we need to set this as a target. And at the ascending node, once again, face, orbit, anti-normal. To get our planes lined up. And with us outside and that guy inside, he's on apoapsis. We could actually raise our orbit a bit. But anyway, I'm going to warp here. Okay, we're lighting up, doing a plane change fix. Now what I can do is I can actually face prograde. And just give us a bit more thrust. So with each pass of the moon, he'll get closer and closer to us. And I'm going to go ahead and fast forward time at this point until I've reached the orbit where I'm actually going to plan a rendezvous. So hang tight for that. Okay, so this orbit is really the one where... Oh, come on. Show me the goods. Well, anyway, in a while, he's going to end up passing by us. So I'm going to face retrograde now and bring my periapsis, my apoapsis down. And my goal is to bring my apoapsis basically within 2 kilometers of his. So I have 12.5 here. If I park this at, so that's nearly 12, at 14. Not with target, orbit. I was in the wrong mode. 15. 14. Okay, at any rate, what's going to happen is I'm pretty much guaranteed to be within 2 to 3 kilometers of him. And I will catch you guys when it's time for us to plan a rendezvous, so hang tight for that. Okay, so here we are tracking Lander 1, and we're just going to get our closest pass. Once again, as is always the case. Okay, we've gone past our closest pass, but that's alright. Now we're going to face retrograde with respect to Lander 1, and arrest any velocity that we have. Okay, now we're going to face the target, and basically go that way at 10 meters per second. And once again, we'll just wait for our closest pass by this lander. Now it's going to actually come underneath us. I'm going to face retrograde. It's a little bit hard to see because we're on, you know, maybe I can do some post enhancement. Wow, we're passing really close. Let me just stop. Okay, now our orbits are identical. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward time until we get out of this dark side of the thing. Hopefully we don't crash into it. Okay, now that we are on the light side of the moon here, we'll just face retrograde with respect to target, 0.3 meters. Make sure that any little residuals are pretty much gone. And we are now in a position where we're going to go ahead and EVA over here to grab all the science from these experiments. And while we're here, by the way, we'll get our own science done. Observer materials-based study for 75 science. Get a Presmat barometer. Pressure data for 36 science. The instrument reads 0, as if it were in a vacuum. We have some temperature data that we can grab. Keep that. We know that our crew report's expended, so we don't need to worry about that. Alright, let's get out. Valentina, please exit the spacecraft. Let go. Thrusters on. Lights. Head over to Moon Orbiter 1. So we're in orbit around the moon, grabbing the science, which is more important than Jeb right now. Valentina, once again, hero of the hour, cleaning up Jeb's mistakes. This craft just didn't quite have what it took to land on the moon. I'm not sure if it was because this engine wasn't efficient enough or what. We'll have to consider a redesign and try it again. Maybe put a bigger engine on it, lander can. There are things that we can do. But we don't care right now. Right now, we are just, we're just going to go over here. Get nice and close. And take that data. So now we have the surface sample. There was also a temperature display here, which I think was from the surface. Take that data. Space near the moon. That's alright. Okay. Now, back to my craft. Any EVA reports to be had? Nope. And we are also going to just come down here. Come on, up. Collect that data. Remove it, yes, that's fine. And I want to collect this data too. Just in case it burns off during re-entry. Board. Alright, we have all these experiments on us. Let's review what we have now. We have an atmospheric pressure scan, a surface sample with a bunch of science, a temperature scan, and a materials-based study. So, let's get ourselves out of here. Let's plan an injection. Orbit. Add maneuver. We need to, where is he? Unset as target. Get a maneuver going that gets us back to Kerbal. So I'm a really big fan of these one and done burns. You'll see me use this method over and over and over again for every single one of my moon missions. I'm going to rotate this around until I get the minimum periapsis. Pull on prograde. Aim for 30 kilometers or so. like this-ish. And we're ready to get out of here. Warp to next maneuver. Target us. This is a 15-second burn. Get ourselves facing our maneuver node. And we're at T-minus 15 seconds. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. There we go. We are on our way. Goodbye, Moon Orbiter 1. So this is all the fuel that we have left. Facing prograde. And this last little bit of Delta V. Everything else is done from the map. We have 50 kilometers. We'll just keep on burning this until that's where I like it. 32 is fine. We can't do anything to that, it's disabled. Can't do anything to that, it's disabled. We already have a pressure scan in space near the moon. That's temperature near the moon. I think we'll go to space high above the moon and do both. Redo both of those. Right about here should be good. Log the pressure data. High over the moon. 24 more science for us. Temperature data. Okay, we've already got that one. Let's go ahead and EVA. Take this data and put it on the capsule. All right. There it is. Our periapsis is still 32 kilometers, so I am going to go ahead and fast forward time and talk to you guys when we reach splashdown. All of this is pretty standard procedure. If you haven't seen me do this before, I would say check out one of my previous videos when I did a flyby the moon. I can't remember what episode that was. All right, here we are, 20 meters above the ground, coming in for a nice soft splashdown. Curve splash. Recover the vessel. We brought back a bunch of science. This was a purely scientific mission, pretty much funded entirely by our checkbook. But that's okay. We brought back 283 science for a grand total of 362 science that we have now. 1,000 funds from recovered parts. Valentina gained another experience point. Interesting. Cool. We'll do a really quick cleanup of any mess that we have. Lander 1's still fine. Moon orbiter debris. That thing's going to re-enter the atmosphere anyway. That is going to be it for episode 13. Tune back in on episode 14 when we spend a whole bunch more science once again, giving us much heavier lifting capabilities. And maybe think about ways to bring a materials bay to the surface of the moon for that kind of study. So hang tight for that. Thanks for watching. Remember, while it is rocket science, it's not that hard. Goodbye!